As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Vanderpump Magoots. What's up, dude?
Little late night stew action.
Is stew going to be a thing now?
I think so. I think I'm just gonna lean into it. We'll just keep it going. Yeah, we look, boys are a little tired.
A little sleepy tonight.
A couple of sleepy boys here. But we wanted to make sure we got a little Vanderpump out there. We got to make sure that this is a timely way to do things. Make sure that nobody steals our takes.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst. And we want you, the listeners, to hear what we have to say.
Yeah,
It was an interesting episode.
It was. We've had a good 2 weeks in a row. We've had a lot to talk about, which makes me happy. The content in which we're discussing is annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's more Sandoval, but I'm glad to see that this show has a more direct path right now. I'm glad to see that we're getting answers for certain things. This is the actual aftermath that I think that we wanted to see, is like, all right, well, how are we picking up the pieces and moving forward with life instead of the first, I want to say the first 4 or 5 episodes were just a lot of runaround and not a lot of answers.
What episode number do you think we're on?
This is 6 or 7, right?
7. Yeah, all right, we're good.
Yeah, no. I know that we forget a lot, but this time
It's like when it gets to the end of the season, 2 things that always bother me. 1, I never know which episode is which. And 2, when I think back to when episode 1 and 2 aired, and it's like 6 months ago, it really fucks me up.
Oh, that's like when you're deep into like a housewife season.
Yeah.
It's like, what week are we on? Oh, 16? Oh, we've been
Yeah.
doing this for half a year almost.
Like, oh yeah, we took that 1 week break because of Thanksgiving and it's March. That makes no sense. But yeah, so we've got a little Vanderpump coming your way tonight. I did want to talk about one thing. I know you spend some time on Twitter now, so you kind of understand it.
A little, much more than I used to, yes.
You know what the community notes are?
Nope.
Okay. So whenever somebody puts something up there that might be misleading or...
Oh, the thing that pops up below it that says, actually, this is what
Yes.
happened. Okay, yeah.
So, and sometimes, at least in the past, it was really annoying. They've been on their game so well recently.
Oh, good.
And one of the, there's 2 things that I want to talk about. The first one was this dumbass, NFT, trader, I guess, if you want to say it, or like a Bitcoin guy, he posted a picture of him and his friends on a yacht. And he said, this is who you're trading against. And the dude, no lie, and I don't like to ugly shame. He is the ugliest person I've ever seen in my life. He looks like Big Bird, reincarnated. It's so funny. And everybody was ripping him apart, and he just kept posting video after video talking to the haters. He's like, you should choose rich every time. And then the community note would come in and say, actually, what he's doing right now is he's in an Uber. It's an Uber Black. And you can tell this because we looked into this and that. And it's like a really in-depth thing. And they were crushing him over and over and over again every single time that he did it. It was so funny. The other one, which was one of my favorite things of all time, I guess it's like an online board, like a BuzzFeed or whatever, Slate, put an entire article out about Sydney Sweeney and saying, her boobs are actually not that big. An entire article.
Oh, my God.
The community notes came in and just said, yes, they are. It was great. It was a great week for community notes.
Why would that article be written? That's some
Dude,
shit
I don't know. A lot of articles don't need to be written, but
it's insane, though. That's like some shit we would see when we were in high school, like when the internet was founded.
Yeah, no, I figured I would talk about that instead of the other thing that's been taking up a lot of my time, which is just NFL free agency. But you know what? Our listeners don't really want to hear that because I've got a lot of thoughts on that. But this isn't a sports podcast.
It's not a sports podcast, but let me just say this. The birds are back. I want you to tell everybody out there.
March.
I want you to tell everybody back out there. We back up.
All right,
we back up.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm not gonna bog it down with the sports talk. We got to get into some Vanderpump.
Yeah, we do. We usually post this the night of Vanderpump. We couldn't record last night. We had some scheduling conflicts, so we're getting to you a day late. So we apologize.
Day late, $1 short.
Day late, and no, we'll be no dollar short because here's the thing. Even when we're CP boys, might be a little bit of a CV boy right now.
What it does is it tires me out at the very end. It's like, all right, now I'm good. I can go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. But while we're here, present in the stew, as we're calling it now, which
All right.
I don't think that.
Take it up. Yeah.
Well, look, if something sticks, I will respect the bit.
There's room on the stew crew. You want to get in on it?
See, now you're losing me. I'm gonna leave the stew crew. I'm gonna leave you to stew in your own.
You have to file a lot of paperwork to get out of the stew crew. So figure it out.
In or out?
Out. In
Oh,
is
that's
easy.
how you get out?
Getting out, a lot of paperwork.
It's not like you get the only way out's in a box. It's just like, no,
No.
we're going to hound you with paperwork
Yeah.
for months.
Just the clerical nonsense.
You'll never be able to finish all the paperwork. Well, anyway, welcome to the Stew Crew. I'm your boy, Stu.
No.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ruin it for you.
Damn it. It's my bit. I do that.
But as Shooter said, it is VPR night, so let's jump right in. And the first thing I want to talk about, we have a weird moment, obviously, with Ariana and Sandoval both in the house, which just seeing that perspective of Ariana, like, barred off in her room and, like, oh, God, is that his voice? Like,
Boxes around her.
it's just such a miserable scenario
Yeah.
for everybody involved.
Not to mention, if you throw Anne in the middle and she is so uncomfortable and she just wants to go see Barbie.
I know. Just let her go see Barbie.
Just let her go see Barbie. That's all she wants to do. She doesn't want to hear about your Tahoe trip.
No, not in
And
the
you spinning it
slightest.
in some manipulative way. Nobody wants to hear that.
No, not at all. But, we do get a quick line from him where he's like, we actually had resolutions and the stench of scandal is starting to wear off finally. And,
How long do you think he's been waiting to say that?
oh, he had that written in his journal weeks ago.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about the journal. God damn it.
What do you mean? He reminded everybody right then. He goes, I'm going to go up to my room and, like, debrief my thoughts. And she's like, oh, yeah, with who? He's like, I'm just going to journal. Okay, Tom, go journal your life away. There's nothing wrong with journaling. Let me just say that. But, like,
You have a notebook in your hand. But yeah,
exactly. But he gives it a bad name.
he does.
He
He
gives
gives,
it a bad name.
everything a bad name, though.
Yeah. I was going to do it, but I didn't.
What?
You give love. Because he does give love a
So
bad
you ended up doing it anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself. But let's move on from there because we have a lot of big conversations that happened tonight, some of which felt a little fake. I'll get there.
A little, yeah.
Yeah, a little fake. I'll get to that one. But this first one was between Scheana and LVP, and they're at Villa Rosa. And it's just a Tahoe recap of everything. And this is the issue anytime LVP is on the screen. Her initiative is so goddamn obvious what she's trying to accomplish. She's trying to bridge the gap for Sandoval, and I am now under the impression it's entirely for the show. She wants the show to do well, so she's trying to bridge the gap between Sandoval and forcing it with the people that she knows it's going to work with. Scheana is the easiest domino to fall after Schwartz, but he was a guarantee. So by going after Scheana and planting in her mind, like she's already insecure about certain things, right? She's questioning the friendship. She wants to be friends with him again. She's starting to turn against Ariana because she thinks that she'll never hear her feelings and she's not helping her through this whole thing, which the more I hear her say it, the more and more ridiculous it gets. Like when we really break down what this whole issue is. But
Yeah.
regardless, the minute that she sits down and hears like, oh, you're thinking certain things, like she starts to plant certain seeds into Sheena's brain to totally flip her.
It's so easy to see, too, and we saw this in the conversation, I think it was 2 weeks ago before the Tahoe trip, when LVP sat down with Lala and Scheana, and you could
Yes.
tell. And I think that the way the two of them heard that conversation with LVP was completely different. Scheana heard it like, oh, I need to give him another chance. Like, if LVP's telling me to do this, I should give him another chance. And she's so easily manipulated into those situations because she just gets walked over all the time. And she's so like, I need to be friends with this person. It's like, okay, whatever. Lala heard it as it was. She knows this is good for the show, and she also heard it as, okay, yeah, I've been a little jealous of Ariana. You're giving me ammunition here. You're telling me to go after her, essentially.
Interesting.
It was a different way that each of them heard that, and you could see it play out in this episode.
That's a really interesting premise.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But she keeps going with LVP and she's like, it's always about her. It's never about me. And she brings up the fact that Ariana got Dancing with the Stars and like she knows how bad I wanted that. It's like, okay, two major things here. One, they didn't offer you. They offered Ariana. You want her to say no because you wanted to do it? That's a fucked up.
Do you know how I viewed that? It would be like if you got to the MLB and I was like, but like he knew that I wanted to play in the MLB. Why would he do that to me?
And me being like, "You're right, dude."
You know
I'm
what?
not gonna-
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go
Say,
podcast.
Yeah, fuck baseball. That's why I left, because Shooter was jealous.
I got upset.
Yeah, and I'm a good
He's
friend.
a good friend.
I'm a great friend.
And Ariana's not a good friend.
Yeah, by this logic. But it was so weird. And it was like, I don't know why you'd be upset with her about taking it. Don't know why that's a gut punch for you, as you said. It's a gut punch, sure, if you thought you were really going to get it. And maybe Sandoval pushed Ariana over the edge and she's the one that ended up getting it. But regardless, they picked her.
It would have also been really funny if she was in line to go and then at the last second, because of Sandoval, they said, you know what? We definitely can't have 2 VPR people on here. Scheana, you're out. That would have been really funny.
That would have been kind of funny.
But she didn't even get to that point. She wasn't invited.
But
so
my
who
whole
cares?
thing, like, is she really a front runner? Like, when you break down who goes
No.
on these shows, like,
People involved in cheating scandals?
yeah, like-
Mauricio?
That's actually a really valid point. Oh, we need to dive into that more.
Yeah, there's something there.
There's definitely something there. But LVP just kind of seals the deal here, because the last thing she says is you should be able to talk to her. If she's really your close friend, you should be able to talk to her. Let's remember what they're talking about. This is a breakup that happened between Ariana and Tom, and we only say breakup because they didn't make it legal. Like, they were more or less married.
Yeah.
They had a house, they had a life, they had businesses, like all of these different things. So it's not the same situation where it's like, yeah, they went through something hard, but you went through it too, and she needs to hear you out. It's like, Scheana, go to anybody else to discuss this. I don't know why you need sympathy from Ariana, especially if you want to weasel your way back into a friendship with Tom. You know she's never going to be cool with it. Why would you keep pushing her for her blessing? That's going to make her more and more likely to be like, you know what? Clearly you don't care, so I'm done completely.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. Or if she just decided to, like, you, again, and I think Ariana said this at the end of the episode, you can forgive him all you want. It's just, I don't want to hang out with people who want to hang out with him all the time. You shouldn't be going to, she's not going to go to dinner with him one-on-one, but in a group setting, yeah, it's going to make your life a little more comfortable if you forgave him and you were, you know, I guess, cordial with him in certain situations. That should really be enough, and then just test the waters from there. You can't go to Ariana a couple months after this whole thing fell apart and say, hey, I need your blessing to go be friends with your ex. She's going to say no. So it's a tough conversation that you shouldn't even want to have.
Yeah, you shouldn't need to have this conversation. The fact that she keeps forcing this conversation and getting more and more upset and pointing the finger at Ariana for not understanding, and it leads to the next scene because Lala takes it upon herself to have this conversation with Ariana where it's like, you're not being a good friend to Scheana is pretty much what it's summed up as. And look, for better or worse, wherever you fall on this, and if you look at the comments, there are people on both sides of this battle.
Yeah.
There's Team Ariana and Katie, and there's Team Lala and Scheana, which you could argue is Team Tom at this point. But as you're watching this shake out, like, Ariana has never once shifted or changed her stance. She's never changed how she's presenting it either. Like, she's never once faltered. It's not like she's changing her mind and it's like, no, I'm creating new boundaries. It's like, you guys were all cool with my boundaries 4 months ago when this happened. I haven't changed. You guys have. You're being more open to the idea of Tom. The other thing is, the more I watch her in this episode, she's not flat out saying, like, you cannot be seen with him. She's saying, keep him at an arm's length and be respectful to me. Keep him out of my life. There's a difference there. I do think that she would gauge it off of if they're there in Tahoe and Tom is present. If they're at a restaurant, it's a bunch of them and Tom ends up going. Yeah, shit happens. But if you're actively seeking out, like, hey, Tom, let's go to dinner on a Wednesday night, that tells Ariana where your friendships lie, and it's more towards Sandoval because she's asking you and telling you, if you need this friendship, fine, but I'm out.
Yeah, and I think that's entirely fair, too.
It is.
And this is what happens when Lala gets a little bit of power, and I hate watching this. She is, and I've been trying to figure out her motives. I don't know if it's just for the show. I think a lot of it has to do with her being jealous, which is one of the dumbest things in the world, because guess what? For both of them, for Scheana as well, Lala, you wouldn't have done all of the cool things that you've done in the last year if it wasn't for Ariana. Maybe be a little grateful. She's the one who has to deal with the whole breakup. You're just over here trying to plead for your friends to be friends with others. Like, no, that's stupid. And I hate that she even said, well, you could have spoken up and said something about Scheana being in that picture. She was getting dragged online. Who cares? If you remember correctly, around this time, everything that Ariana did or said was a headline.
Yeah.
Why would she want to do that immediately when she already knows what's going on? She already had the weird conversation with Scheana after the whole, this was that night after the whole weird, sit down and meditate together thing when Scheana called her crying.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows what's going on. She has an idea of what's going on, and Katie can see through all that bullshit. So Katie knows what's going on. So she's telling her, she's sitting here trying to be friends with Sandoval. Why the fuck would I then put something on the internet saying, oh yeah, Scheana's a really good friend? I'm questioning her friendship right now. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to put myself out there to be on a headline and have to read Ariana speaks up in her defense of Scheana. What's really going on in VPR? That was every single headline around that time. If you can avoid it, then just avoid it. It's Sheena's fault that she was in the picture in the first place.
Yeah, and Ariana ended up posting something anyway.
I hate that she did that. I didn't like that she backtracked.
I don't mind it.
I do.
That's fine. I don't. I
Be
think
petty.
there's this weird middle ground. I'm trying to not quote unquote pick a team. I think there's clearly obvious things here that people are doing correctly and clearly obvious things that people are not. I think that Ariana standing her ground, setting boundaries, and remaining true to those boundaries is completely fair and completely reasonable. Now, I'm also looking at this from a rest of the cast standpoint. Okay. And if this is a real world scenario and this is a group of friends, this is a different story. Because I would say it's pretty clear, don't talk to this dude anymore. He cheated on one of your best friends with another friend in the group. He's out now. But this is a TV show. This is a cast that needs to come back together in some way, shape, or form. So,
But do they right now?
no, they don't.
Absolutely not. You can have a season of being divided. We only complain about the shows that they're divided for like 3 seasons in a row, like Potomac, when we don't want to watch that, like Jersey, where they're divided. And it's like, okay, we know why they're divided, but it's not good TV anymore because nobody's interacting with each other. There's not a lot going on. After what happened, you're allowed to have a season of being divided. Throw this in there next year. It seems like everything they're doing is so much like, all right, we need to capitalize on this now and we need to rush everything. And I don't really appreciate that because Sandoval bought you at least 2 or 3 more seasons. You don't need to rush it. You can at least have one fallout season where everybody's kind of at each other's necks and you're trying to feel each other out. I'd actually appreciate that a little bit more than what we're seeing right now, which is just overproduced, force-fed, fast bullshit. And I'm on a team right now that I never imagined that I'd ever be on this team. I'm on Team Katie.
I know.
It's so weird.
I know. But that's like, so what I was saying, like this middle ground that I'm trying to see. And I agree. Like, again, real world scenario. Yeah, you're totally right. And from a reality TV standpoint, they could have pushed this for another season. They didn't. So I'm looking at it through the lens of, all right, I do see what the rest of the cast is trying to do. I do think that some of it is genuinely they want to be friends with Tom again. I think some of it's for the show. I think that they don't really know where the lines are anymore.
Yeah.
They're just trying to do something to push everything forward. Whether that's friendship or show related, I'm not sure. And I'm not sure that they're sure.
Well, I think Scheana's an idiot, and I think she's just following the lead of somebody else. I think Lala knows what she's doing, and she's pushing her own narrative while also following LVP's lead, and LVP is orchestrating a lot of it.
Which I can totally agree with. I think that both sides can be right at times, and I'm only saying that because I do understand the frustration with the group if they're saying, I just need to be able to maintain some kind of cordial friendship with Sandoval, but the way that you make it seem is that if I have any contact whatsoever, you and I, Ariana, are donezo. And that's where I'm like, all right, well, I can see why there would be some frustration there from the show's perspective only. If this is a real world scenario, I'm not at all trying to see both sides of this.
Right.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate a little bit. Again, let me reiterate, if I had to pick a team, I'm definitely Ariana and Katie right now. Because they're being logical.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm fully, even in the show sense, in the reality TV sense, I'm still on Ariana and Katie's side.
Which is fine.
Lala and Scheana, it's just, I can't stand them right now.
Which, again, totally fine. And we see it shake out in this next scene. We get Lala, Katie, Scheana, and Christina Kelly's back, which...
Welcome back, Christina
I
Kelly.
guess, yeah, whatever. But
What did she do tonight? Anything?
No.
Nope.
She did the same thing she did when she was on the show. Nothing. But you like that sick burn, right, guys? I got to keep that warmed up for the next show. But they're going over things. We find out that Summer broke her arm, which is super sad. And ironically, that was when Scheana was there and not when the babysitter was there. Not saying that has anything to do with it. It's just that she pointed out she's always so nervous.
Well, I mean,
to
that's a
leave.
good thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously it's not a good
No,
thing.
no, I didn't. You know what I
But
mean?
the silver lining,
timing of it is
the
good.
silver lining here could be that something happened, but it wasn't the end of the world. You guys handled it. Maybe it'll give her some confidence as a mom that she can handle some critical situations when they occur. So if that comes out of this little silver lining for a broken arm,
Look at you looking at the mom side of things.
yeah, always, man.
How about that?
You like
Good
that?
for you.
Thank you. But we get these four together and they're recapping Tahoe. And literally every scene in this episode I wrote under, like each scene note was, and the Tahoe recap, because we have a Tahoe recap every time. Scheana is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this is the first time that I've seen genuine tears out of Sandoval. I wonder if she watches this back and she's like, that was genuine tears.
Absolutely.
You think she really fell
Yeah.
for it? Like, there's no way those were genuine tears. This man cries on call.
I don't think that Scheana genuinely cares about a friendship with Ariana. She's just a people pleaser and wants to
I
be
agree.
friends with everybody and wants everything to be cool.
She wanted to be on the right side
But
of history.
at the end of the day, if she had to pick, she would pick Sandoval 100%.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But I think that with
Yeah,
the,
oh, that's a good point, actually. She wanted to be on the
she
right
wanted to
side
be on
of
the right
history.
side of
Yeah,
history, and
that's
this
a
all
really good
shook
point.
out. She wanted to make sure that the headlines were nice to her.
Yep.
That's what I think, and I think that now it's starting to settle down. Now that the show is pointing, or production is pointing Tom as like the redemption arc, and they're pointing to Ariana as being the asshole this season. Now she's like, all right, I'm free and clear. I can kind of do what I want to do now. Because I do think that that comes out also when she keeps making the comment. She did it on the after show as well. Tom's more upset about losing my friendship than he is about losing Ariana and everything that happened, which is, I feel like it's gotten glossed over. Like, that's ridiculous to say that.
It's insane.
Like, what a crazy thing to say. Like, let's really look at the pieces here.
That
Scheana.
I mean, and I know it's a theory, and I know that I've kind of played with the theory a little bit that they were broken up before all of this, and most of it was just for the show.
Yeah,
It kind of points to something like that, but
sure, but still.
I don't think that Tom can tell his head from his ass at this point. He doesn't know which lie to go with, and he's caught up with it. But his confidence in him lying is so strong that he just says everything with his chest.
That's a good point.
And it's like, you do you even realize what you just said? No, he doesn't care.
No,
He
but it's
really
definitely
doesn't.
true. I definitely
It's
believe it.
1,000% true.
But as we're talking about Tahoe, this is when we get the comment about Tom being more upset about losing his friendship with Scheana, and Katie jumps in and just says, like, why do you want this kind of person in your life? Like, why are you still falling for this? Why are you falling for the apologies? I knew him for so many years, and never once did I get a genuine apology. And if anybody can speak on Sandoval more so than the rest of the crew, it's Katie, because she's been on the receiving end for years. Even when Tom and Katie were together, that's probably when she caught the most shit, because Tom was losing his friend, and she says, I was painted as a monster. He interfered with my marriage. These things are all true. And the more that we get from Tom now and who he actually is, that should paint a picture of what she was trying to deal with. And it sucked for her, because like watching those seasons back when I was watching it, not knowing that stuff, she always came out looking like the asshole, the overbearing wife. Like, she wouldn't leave the bar alone, like all these different things that you're like, man, Katie kind of sucks. It's like, nah, she probably got gaslit, and Sandoval twisted everything to make her look like a piece of shit when she was the one with the most reason. And this is like shaking up a lot of things that I've thought about Katie over the years.
I know.
I did say a lot last year. I think many
She just-
times.
Mostly what we were saying last year is just that she wasn't enjoyable to watch on TV because she was just such a curmudgeon about everything,
But
even
she was
before
usually
Sandoval.
right.
But she was usually correct. But it doesn't, it's not always fun to watch reality TV when somebody's always right. And she is the only one who I feel like is speaking truthfully. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Lala's putting on a show. Scheana is, God knows where the hell her mind is. She's so twisted because of Sandoval and her own motives for just being a friend to everybody. I don't even put any merit into what the hell she's saying. But Katie speaks out, and we're like, finally, somebody just says it.
Yeah, like, why do you
What
want
the
this
hell have
guy?
we been pussyfooting around here for?
Hey,
What the hell's
nice.
going on? Yeah, see? Why was that nice?
Because we've used that word as a callback. That's why.
Is it? Did I ever
Yeah,
use that before?
I said it yesterday or last week.
Oh, how about that? I heard it on the radio today. It was on sports radio. I'm like, I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah, they did.
They did. It worked out. Anyway, side note. No, Katie finally just blurts it out. Everything that we've been thinking the entire time.
Yep.
Because we are tired of the stupid redemption arc that they're building for him. And they've got so many different players in motion, and they've got this whole thing against Ariana. Katie actually speaks the truth. It's like, okay, thank God somebody said it. Maybe it'll speak some sense into Lala. It'll speak some sense into Scheana in some way. No, not at all. I just don't get it.
Scheana brings up upfronts from 12 years ago, and that Sandoval was the
yeah.
first one to bring her in for actual pictures, and she brought up the PayPal thing before, and I'm not saying that they didn't have a friendship. I'm not saying that he didn't do nice things for her. I do 100% believe that all of those nice things had a motive behind them. It's probably for this reason, in case I fuck up on a grand scale at some point. Remember all the nice shit I did for you? Like, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But it doesn't make any sense that it's so personal now for Scheana. Like, yes, you are allowed to be super upset about losing your best friend and about him betraying your trust like this. There's so many different reasons you can be upset, and you can be as upset as you currently are. But to take umbrage with the person that's actually going through this cheating scandal, because they're not there for you in that moment when they should be focused on themselves. And her big thing is, Ariana's had time to grieve. She's worked through it. She's on the other side of it now. Yeah, all signs point to that because she's doing really well. But how does that affect your grief? Why do you need to be on the same path as her, one? And why is it up to Ariana to make sure that you, Scheana, are grieving properly from this when she has to deal with her own grief?
It's jealousy. Scheana's jealous of Ariana, and she's trying to keep up with her, and she's trying to show in so many different ways that she's getting better as well. If you look at it in a logical standpoint, Scheana 2 weeks ago was saying, I can't even imagine being around him. He blocked me. Like, that's so crazy. She said so many bad things about him. One cry up at Lake Tahoe is enough for you to be like, wow, maybe he's changed.
I gotta
Maybe
let go of the hate.
I gotta let go of the hate. He did PayPal me that one time, which brings me to another point. At one point, I feel like everybody on this show has talked about how broke they were. I kind of like it if they were broke.
I brought
Can
this
they
up
go
last
back to
week.
just being broke? Did you?
Not that
Well,
they
they did
should
it
go back
tonight
to
when,
being
when
broke.
Ariana was talking about like being down to her last $2,000. Scheana keeps harping on the PayPal thing. Tom was talking about moving $500 from account to account. I want them all to be broke. It's probably better TV.
It was when they were back at
Yeah.
Sir in the good old days, but
But now if they're 40 and broke, sick. Like
Here's-
if the Valley was like, we're all broke because we haven't been on VPR in so long, I might watch that.
the Valley's actually an apartment complex.
That would be, oh yeah, put them in like the slums somewhere. That'd be awesome.
But oh man, what was I gonna say? Oh, at least Ariana had a reason. Like she explained why she was short on funds because she made a lot of money, finally got a good, or she said I was making decent money. We bought a house. Okay. Money goes down. We were playing catch up again. We found a great location for something about her. Sank a bunch of money into that. So in this time in my life, I only had about $2,000. Okay. Great. Thank you. Because now I don't have to go, where the fuck did your money go?
Yeah.
Because that always drives me nuts, i.e. Scheana. Don't get where all your money went. Would love to know. So,
And we've seen the outside of that apartment a million times. It's just, I don't get it.
but again, you're telling me that you needed money in 2020 from Sandoval to keep the lights on. Fast forward 2024, you're buying a $2 million house.
Because of Ariana. Why are you jealous of her? You should be thankful.
That's all
I don't get it. It's
That's all I'm saying.
somebody needs to say that shit.
Where did you get the
like,
$2 million from to
If
buy the
Katie-
house?
If Katie does that the next like 2 episodes, I might just be Team Katie forever.
Well-
She deserves it at that point.
I mean, I'm glad that she finally spoke up, especially at the end of it, where she's like, I wish you would just, like, seriously get over it. Like, I'm done talking about it. That's the one good thing with Katie, that she'll just say whatever the fuck she thinks, and it's good because we need that person on the show, especially right now. The bad thing and the unfortunate thing, and I already saw some of our questions we're going to get to later. People are like, do Katie and Ariana just, like, need their own show? Like, they don't even seem down with this group anymore. They're not
Why do
connected.
you think? Like,
I know. I'm just saying.
not you.
I know, but this is what happens. It's like they're doing what is correct. This is the right move. We as reality TV watchers, and we as the general sense, get bored with things like that. So now people are like, why the fuck can't they film? It's like, because they don't like Sandoval and they shouldn't.
It's very clear, and it's not that big of a deal because we know when
It
we
is
saw
a
the
big
mid-season
deal.
trailer that they do eventually have to all film together.
The mid-season trailer looks good.
It looks really good. But what did you think? I want to get your thoughts on this. Of the line that Katie had in the middle of this whole conversation, where she said, "Yeah, there's some rumors about Jax out there." Do you think it was a Valley plug? I
No,
thought it was a Valley plug.
maybe, but
I
even
think Katie's going to take a shot at Jax regardless, but
she would. So it's not
the
even if
timing of it was suspicious for me
Could
because
have been
like
a Valley
Valley's next
plug.
week, you know.
probably was, but no, it already aired.
No, it's on the 19th.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not airing yet. Next week. But yeah, I mean, maybe it was a plug. But at the same time,
We're within a week of the new show, and we have gotten this date correct for weeks now.
and I just fucked
and
it
you
up.
just fucked it up.
We were so close. We were so close.
God damn it. We were so close.
But no, I think that it was a plug. But at the same time, one, least surprising news ever, Jax Taylor still out in these streets being an asshole. Who'd have thunk it? Two, if it's a Valley plug, whatever, we're going to have to watch it anyway, so I'll go away. But moving on, we get arguably the most produced conversation I may have ever seen on Bravo.
So bad.
It was tough. This was faker than Ken dropping the bomb that Raquel was in the hot tub with Sandoval last year. That was the level it was at.
Yeah.
It's LVP and Sandoval, and they sit down to discuss Tahoe. Not before Sandy takes an issue with the fact that he walked into the front door and the pump door is now where the old door used to be, and it's for Tom. And he's upset that he didn't get consulted about the door change, which I'm very glad LVP reminds everybody we don't take the time to check with our 2.5% business owners because they don't have enough say. They're only part owners because we wanted to use their names.
Yeah.
That's it. Shut up, Tom.
Pretty simple.
You don't get to choose what they put on
Also,
the
wait,
door.
are they even 2.5% holders right now? Because didn't she pay them out so they could open
They didn't.
Schwartz and Sandy's?
Oh.
They did eventually do that.
There was something.
They're still like
I think they used to own
stake
5%
owners, but
each. Maybe they only
I think
bought
it
back.
was 5% total.
I thought, who cares?
That's a really
about
good
that?
point.
Who
really good
gives
point.
a shit?
I know, and how overproduced this scene did bother me, and obviously you can see right through it immediately. Sandoval's a fucking terrible actor, and it's very easy to say. Before we get into all of that, do you know what my biggest issue of this entire scene was? You know me, so you know how weird it's going to be.
I know, so I'm trying to think about outfits out of place. I'm trying to think of orders that would have been weird.
Mm-hmm. You're on the right track.
I know.
Yep.
I know how your brain
Yeah,
works.
You're getting there.
Is it the ice cream?
Who the fuck's walking around LA with ice cream?
There we
You're wearing
go.
a cutoff shirt. It's hot out. You're walking
was
around
my
with
second
ice
one,
cream,
was
and
the
it's
cutoff.
melting. Yeah, the cutoff was douchey too. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You want some of this melted ice cream, Lisa? Oh, I brought this for you. All right, yeah, I guess I'll have some. It's fucking yogurt at that point. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, that was my biggest problem.
I got to it. See?
You did get
I
to it.
worked
You
it
did
out.
get to
But as they're talking about everything, we already know that he's telling people that Tahoe was good. It went better than I thought it would. Like, I seem to be working my way back in with the group. Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
he's
blah.
rehearsed this line 15 times by this point on camera, so he's got it down a little bit better now.
1,000%. But he then starts talking about Rachel. Like, I really miss her, man. And, like, she won't pick up my calls. And like, I haven't talked to her in so long. And LVP's like, well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I talked to her at length. That might have taken 3 takes.
Yeah.
That was fake as shit.
And you could tell Tom wasn't even looking at it. He couldn't look her in the eyes because he was going to fuck it up.
Yeah. Like that.
The most rehearsed thing ever.
It was
it
so
painful,
bad.
dude.
So bad. And he starts going through this shit with Rachel. He's like, I just want a relationship with her somehow. And like,
I just want to give her a fucking
hug.
hug, man.
Make sure she's okay, man. And then he says one of the most baffling, and only Tom Sandoval could have this kind of fucking logic. And this right here should tell anybody out there questioning whether or not he's an actual narcissist that he is actually, in fact, a narcissist. Because he talks about the last time he talked to Rachel. He's like, I had no idea that when you get done your stint in these places, sometimes they ask you to stay longer. When you go to rehab or an inpatient facility, it's usually a general, like, yeah, we start at about 30 days, but you don't find out if they want you to stay longer until you get closer to the end of things. And then their recommendation could be, hey, we don't think you're ready yet to reintroduce yourself into the world. So for your own health, well-being, and safety of you and others, we're going to keep you here for a little while until we think that you're okay. Because guess what? We're doctors and professionals, and we know what the fuck we're doing.
Shouldn't Tom know that? Wasn't he also at a facility?
Allegedly.
Uh-huh.
Allegedly.
The same facility, just a different area?
That's according to him.
Huh?
So Tom now,
He was out rock climbing, though.
he had a different experience. But Tom has the audacity to say, she would get mad at me because I wouldn't agree 100% with the things that they were telling her. They being the professionals, the mental health professionals trying to take care of her and get her back on track because you ruined her life. And your recommendation is you have to face this shit eventually. The longer you take, the worse it's going to be. Again, Tom, the professionals are saying we recommend you stay here longer. You're saying leave. You're the one that ruined a lot of people's lives. Who should she listen to? The lovely people at a beautiful place in Arizona that's taking care of her for an extended period of time? Or the Weasley worm with a mustache that ruined her life, ruined the lives of many, many others, and is a walking, ticking time bomb? I know I said lives instead of lives.
Yeah, you did. I was going to let it go.
But it's laughable that he thinks he has the input, the intelligence, or the capacity to be able to diagnose, help, or recommend any kind of treatment plan for any human being.
Do you think he blames the doctors for her wanting nothing to do with him?
Not yet.
It's going to get there.
I know.
Also, is the best underlying redemption arc Raquel's?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, I'm starting to like Raquel.
I think that
Cut him off.
because she just stayed quiet.
I know.
Like, it's remarkable what happens when you don't pull the attention to you. Like, you actually get through things and you get to the other side of it.
You cut out toxic people.
Yeah, and to the point where, when Rachel was on the fashion week or whatever, walking on stage, so many people were in the comments supporting, saying, look, she got back on her feet. Good for her. So many people have come out and said, yeah, shit got a little out of hand during all that.
What doesn't make any sense is, yes, we see that, and it's like, okay, she did it the right way. Tom did it the absolute wrong way, and Bravo is pushing us for his redemption.
Yes.
Why?
TV, baby.
TV.
Movie magic.
God.
Movie magic. But let's keep moving. We get Lala and LVP. The only reason I need to talk about this scene is because I need you to clarify something for me.
Okay.
She's rebranding. Okay? She said, when I started, I was forcing myself down your throat, give them Lala. I'm rebranding because that's not who I am anymore, and it's just going to be me now. What does that mean? Are they changing the name?
Itself? Yeah, they're changing the name.
So
the
what,
move itself?
Lala?
No.
Give them?
She's dropping Lala. I don't know. It's completely different.
This is
now.
my point.
She's dropping the well, first it was like a Zuckerberg moment where you drop the. I'm dropping the Lala because I don't want it to be all about me, and I'm a different person. The more that she talked, the less it made sense. When she first spoke, it made sense. I'm like, okay, yeah, the brand needs to stand on its own, and you don't want people to say, oh yeah, this is just like that VPR Lala brand. Like, yeah, we're gonna go here because it's it's gimmicky and it's Lala, whatever. If it stands by itself, then yes, okay, it's a better brand and it's by itself and it might have longevity. That all made sense to me. The more that she kept talking, the less I understood.
I don't get it.
But here's the thing, and this is kind of where I wrap my head around it. I don't think Lala really understands it. I think that she hired a PR team and they figured it out for her and explained it to her, and she forgot half of it and then made it about herself, which is something that only Lala can do.
What's it called now?
I don't know. I don't care.
But do you see my problem?
I see the
'Cause
problem.
Her podcast is still called Give Them Lala.
Well, yeah, that's different.
Is this her brand, like her makeup company?
This is the makeup and this is cosmetics
Okay,
and everything else that
okay.
she's doing. Yeah.
Thank you. That
Yes.
helps.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because in my brain, I'm like, you didn't change.
Yeah, but
anything.
in a way that only Lala can do. She started the conversation by saying, I need to drop the Lala because it's not about me. And then she ended the conversation with, it's so much more about me and who I
Yes.
am now.
Yeah. I don't know.
She's a walking paradox. I don't understand that.
It's okay though, because we just cleared it up and now I feel a lot better.
Do you? Okay.
I didn't understand. I was very confused by it, but we got
I
there.
love the idea of you thinking it was the podcast.
Well, it's just in general. I'm like, well, it's like, what did you change? It's not a rebranding. It's still Give Them Lala. Now do you see why I was so like, what the fuck's going on?
It's called Give Me Lala now.
Well, then I was like, is it just Give Them now? Because that's confusing. Like, that's where my dumb brain went. We do find out that this is where her journey with a sperm donor began. We know now that she is pregnant with baby number 2, so congratulations there. But moving on from that scene, we get Tom, Joe, James, and Allie. And I need your take on this scene, sir, because I would love
All right, I've got a lot of thoughts on this.
to be at a
So-
table with you and these people.
Holy shit, dude. All right, so first off, Joe and Schwartz come in hot. I'm like, what are they on? There's something going on
Yeah,
here.
they
They
seemed a little
geeked up in some way. Yeah, a little amped up. Second off, main thought about Joe. One, she's annoying as fuck. Get her off the screen. Or maybe keep her on the screen. I don't know. I can't tell what level of annoying she is. Could be entertaining to me at some point. Right now, I'm annoyed.
It's not going to get entertaining.
She's a hairdresser.
Yeah.
The fuck's going on with her hair?
No.
She's got that in between I'm gonna do some dreads soon type of look. Her hair looked dirty as
She
shit.
gives that kind of vibe.
Yeah, she's got that beachy whatever vibe, and I don't understand it. Schwartz just sat there and talked you up as the best hairdresser ever. You've been doing my hair forever. What's going on with your hair?
She can't do her
You got a
own
mop
hair.
over here? Sure you can.
Don't wait a minute.
Yeah, hairdressers
Stop
do
it.
their own hair all the time.
Guys.
I'm not kidding about that. If
do
our
it.
hair was longer, you could pull it out and be like,
Yeah,
"Okay, well,
sure, but there's no way. No. Nope.
okay."
No.
So you think that she's in desperate need of her own hairdresser?
I think that hairdressers
an
go
endless
to a
cycle?
hairdresser. I think that's
then
crazy.
who-
I think that they could do their own
Who
hair.
hairdresses the last hairdresser? If you keep just going up the chain of hairdressers,
Well, if
somebody's
it
gonna be
worked
standing-
that
then
way,
at that point,
maybe
somebody's just
they just do each other's hair.
nah. There's got to be levels to it.
You think
Anyway,
that there's
that's not the point. That's not the point.
you
She
started this.
she pissed me off. And when she sat there and she let out that high pitched yay when she heard that Sandoval was there. At
Yeah.
first, I thought it was sarcastic, but it seemed genuine.
It was
Didn't
real.
like that at all. And thankfully, Allie's one of the only. I think she's the smartest person on the show.
And the most normal.
And we can put the fucking astrology thing we have to talk about at the end of the episode. She's the smartest person on the show, and her sitting there dissecting everything that's going on between Joe and Schwartz, and everything in between was spot on.
Oh, on the nose, yeah.
Absolutely on the nose. Joe just wants to be on screen. That's all it really is, and you can
Really.
tell she's very excited to be on camera. And I don't want her on camera. I'm going to knock her down a peg. Congratulations, you made it on camera. Get the fuck off. I don't want it.
It was tough to watch when
Plus,
she.
not only that, but back-to-back scenes with her. Come on,
Hey, we got a one-on-one with them out to dinner.
we didn't need to do. Give me a
No.
buffer.
I need a buffer.
Get enough Joe.
Yeah, because she.
It's not called give them Joe.
Oh, boo. But my moment where I was like, nope, don't need it anymore, was when James has to double down on his friends with benefits joke because apparently he thought that they didn't hear him or something the first time.
He probably did. He felt like he didn't word it right.
You
the first time.
guys didn't get it because he does the fist too. Like you really had to hammer that shit home. Joe's response is, she blows a raspberry. I'm like, I don't like you. I do not like you. And the way that they're talking to each other, it's like they're in middle school or high school, and they're like, ew, like you're 40.
Yeah,
You're
it was-
too old to be
it was
doing
very
this.
cringy, and I wanted nothing to do with it.
I wish I could have seen you watch that scene though, because I knew you would hate it. But
I would have liked it more to have been there
yeah,
in person and
yeah,
watch.
not watch it on TV. Yeah, I would have loved to have been a party to it, like a fly on the wall there. But Sandoval weasels way over and gives James a pair of glasses that Allie says makes him look like Elton John.
Well, Allie with the line of the episode too. Hey James, he gave Raquel glasses too.
Yeah, and well, James says,
Goes
yeah,
right
they're still
over.
at the house.
Yep.
I don't throw anything away. He's in love with Sandoval.
Yeah.
He gives this guy so many passes, and Allie again says, I hope that he doesn't just try to buy his way back into James's life and his friendship, and I hope that James can see through this bullshit and realize that this guy's just a total loser.
James is honestly he's almost the male version of Scheana.
You could
Doing
say
the
that.
same thing. I mean,
He's fawning over him again.
yeah, you have one conversation with him and you feel like he's being genuine again, and you're right back in his good graces.
It's
The
tough.
problem is that Scheana has to deal with the Ariana of it all. I don't think that James feels like he has to.
No, he doesn't.
No.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference between being a dude on the show and being a woman on the show. Is
Fucking gender
just
roles,
that.
man.
Yeah, it's the dudes get such an easier time with this because they're going to get a pass because they're not as close with Ariana. They're going to be like, whatever. We knew this was going to happen. They're the dudes. They're not going to get shit for this. Whereas the Scheana, Lala, I guess, although Lala doesn't tend to care what others think as much, they're going to get smoked in this just because of how close they are with Ariana.
Yep.
And that's
I
not
wouldn't even
fair.
say that either of them are that close.
No, it doesn't matter though. It's just again. But let's move on to your second favorite scene. We get to have an astrology party, and somebody DM'd us and said, "Would either of you get one of these readings? They are $185." And I feel like we have to get one for either me or you, and we'll just use our podcast community money to get this.
Podcast community.
Yes.
money.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're starting a GoFundMe.
I
No,
don't ever
no,
want to
no,
ask
no,
our
nope.
listeners for anything. So
No, the problem is that they would do it because
we
they
would have
probably
money
want
for
us.
an
I
astrology
know.
chart quickly, I think. But no, I don't want to do that. We can foot the bill. I think we have to.
We can do it. I don't
Yeah,
care.
I think we have to
Yeah.
look into that. But let's
As long
talk
as I don't
about.
have to sit there and listen to them talk. Like if you send it to me
No, I need her to
and
break
we
it
read it
down.
on the air, yeah, all right. Then a video. Send a video. I don't want to be like. I don't want it to be that personal.
But if we do
I don't want to
interact,
laugh in their
I mean,
face.
personal. It's supposed to be. Oh no, if
No,
we
no, no. I
do
meant
it-
like face to face.
if it's face to face, you better fucking be respectful.
I can't.
Then no, we're not doing that. I'm not going to be little. I'm not going to disparage somebody's career because you don't believe in it.
We'll just read it on the
Yes,
podcast.
I'll read it
and
to
then
you.
I'll disparage it
That's fine, but you will not
That's
disparage
okay?
face. Yes,
because it's a level of separation.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Face to face that's disrespectful. That's not fair, and I will not stand
Alright.
for that. But I'll read it to you on the air. That's my compromise.
I think that's good podcasting.
All right, I like this. But after we get through the readings, we start to get into the drama, and that's when Scheana brings up, how are you doing with the house, like living in the same house, all of that. We do get a lot of answers as to why they're living in the same house still. And we find out that the financial situation of Ariana, the $2,000 in her bank account before all this shit happened. So she wasn't moving initially simply because it was not financially feasible to do so. Now she is in a place where she can probably move, but she's probably trying to get her ducks in a row. This is a much more concise answer for the audiences at home, at least, where it's
Yeah.
like, at least we can see, not that we need or are owed a reason for why she's staying in the house, but this makes more sense where I'm like, okay, financially speaking, you want to make sure your ducks are in a row before you make a stupid move that's once again influenced by this piece of shit, Tom Sandoval. You don't want to jump ship and now you're in a hole because he cheated on you.
Correct.
That makes total sense to me.
Makes sense to me now.
But we get a quick shift over to what I wrote down as the Meat Boys because they're at a Brazilian steakhouse, which I would love to do like a casino Brazilian steakhouse night, by the way. We don't have to dress like the Rat Pack.
Yeah,
but,
what the fuck was that? You're gonna dress as the Rat Pack to go to a Brazilian steakhouse?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
go
know.
out and do something.
Well, that's the other thing when Schwartz was like, yeah, I want to do like a Rat Pack night. Like when I think Rat Pack night,
It's casino.
I think casino one, and when I think steakhouse, I think like old school, like velvet. We're talking like cloth, big cloth,
Curtains?
tablecloth,
Oh,
like girdles.
curtains.
Oh, why did I hear girdles?
I don't know.
Ugh.
We were talking about girdles the other day.
Yeah, football practice.
Yep.
But anyway,
Let's move on.
let's move on from that one. When we get to the Meat Boys, they start talking about Raquel, and this scene tells you where James is and what James wants out of life, and that's to be boys with Tom again. Because Tom, in a strange moment of self-awareness, looks over to James and says, "This is awkward. I don't really want to talk about this with you here." And he's like, "We're all gentlemen here. We're not going to flip the Brazilian barbecue table."
But not because he's doing it to be respectful of James. He's
No.
doing it out of respect for himself and Raquel
Oh, is that?
and their relationship. Yeah.
Oh, you think that's why?
Yes. He doesn't want James involved in it. He's like, I feel weird talking about it because I know how you feel about me and Raquel.
Oh, I thought
Not
it was
because,
it's
you
your
were engaged with her.
ex-fiancée.
Yeah, no, not at all. Tom's
that's-
self-serving.
That's less weird to me than James giving input on it.
It's way less
James is
weird.
like, she hasn't said one word. It's like, why do you care? Why is this what you don't need to
'Cause
be
he
cool
doesn't
with them.
give a shit. It's
But why?
I don't know.
I need to know why.
I can't figure it out. And the worst part about this, and I already gave Allie props before, I don't really understand where she's coming from. Like, why is she not hyper focused on this?
I don't know.
Like, when they first started dating, Raquel was involved in everything and she had to deal with her all the time. And now all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, Tom's back and the whole Raquel thing's completely out the window. Why is she not looking further into this?
I don't know.
I mean, I still do think that Allie is dating James to be on the show. Which
I think that she's a smart
she's
cookie.
definitely a smart cookie. Did you also catch, and I completely forgot about this, in the first scene when they're doing the little splits up with everybody doing their own thing? Every single time they go to their house, they have to show a plane going overhead.
Oh yeah.
They have to regret the fact that they brought that up on camera,
Yeah.
right?
I would imagine because now it's the highlight of their house. It's
Yep.
which
Bravo
again,
just
who
has like
gives a shit?
5 hours of plane footage from their backyard, and like, oh, we're gonna show
It's
this
just
every
one
time.
plane. They just reverse the
Yeah.
angle every time. But Sandoval, I guess this is essentially his like final farewell moment with Rachel, where he's like, and he also paints this scene in his confessional, like he's the man scorned now, where he's like, I've reached out to her so many times, like she didn't even have the the decency to send me an email or let me know. It's like,
email for closure.
yeah, an email for closure. And he says, I just need some female energy in my life. Like, yeah,
Fuck, that's the grossest way to say I need to start dating again.
yeah, it is.
We already had the conversation where Schwartz brings it up that you need to get out there and start dating. That's what you were looking for. That's what you're waiting for. Because now if the boys have your back and you go out dating and talking to girls, you were told to do that. You're told to get over the whole breakup thing. That makes sense. I'm going to lean into this. We don't need you to double down and say you need female
I need
energy.
some
It's
female
gross,
energy in
dude.
my life. It's disgusting. But we get back to the ladies and they're talking about the dudes and, what's going on over there because Scheana just texted Brock and Lala. I know what she's doing. I knew exactly what she was doing. She's like, that they're all going to bond. Like, they're going to bond, right, guys? Like, she's trying to force the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And we start to get into it. And that's when Allie says, he feels guilty. And Ariana's like, well, he probably feels guilty because he's betraying himself. And I don't think that's the reason. I don't at all. I do think that James only feels bad because he's hanging out with Tom and Ariana's going to feel bad about that. I don't think it has anything to do with his feelings or opinions about himself. I'm not saying Ariana's
I think
wrong.
he's conflicted. I think he's definitely conflicted just based off the conversation that he had, the first conversation that we saw between him and Tom at Tom's birthday party, which was the saddest birthday party ever. James went into it with those weird mixed feelings where he was there to have a conversation. He didn't really know why he was there. And the conversation went pretty much what he thought was going to happen. And he blew up at Tom.
Yeah, and then a day later they're cool again. That's
Yeah,
my
so
point.
I think James is super conflicted with the
I
whole thing.
don't.
I don't think that it's something that he feels bad about. I think he doesn't know how to feel about it.
I disagree. I think you're giving him way too much credit.
You think it's because of Ariana? I don't think he gives a shit about Ariana.
No, I think that again, I don't either. I think it's more optics to the situation where he's like, oh, I know hanging out with Tom's going to piss her off. And I don't want to I think that on paper, he doesn't want to upset Ariana. I don't think he cares about the feelings. I think that he is in. I think the only thing he needed from Tom was an apology. He needed the door open so that he could be boys with him again. Because watch the interactions this episode. Him taking the sunglasses and dapping him up afterwards. Like, he loves this guy. And then fast forward to this scene, he's talking about Rachel with Tom, like trying to get to the bottom of it, like trying to help him out in this situation. That's fucking insane. That's crazy. So no, I don't. I think you're giving him way too much credit where he's like conflicted, doesn't know how to feel. I think that he gives a shit about himself only, as a lot of the people on this show do. And I think that he wants to be friends with Tom.
Yeah, I don't think that he knows and he can put his finger on the fact that he's the one who's conflicted. I think anytime that we see him kind of waffling back and forth, it's because internally he's struggling, but he doesn't know that that's what's going on, is what I'm saying. Because he only cares about himself. That's very true.
I know.
I don't, but like I would go as far to say he doesn't even give a shit about the optics.
Oh, see, I do. I think that he realizes like, oh, I shouldn't be on this team because it looks bad, and I need to care about Ariana's feelings again on paper to make myself look good. But I want to hang out with Tom. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
But regardless, this is where Lala comes in with her time heals line, and when you listen to what Ariana's saying in return, like what she's saying to Lala, again, it's not like James needs to separate all ties, never talk to Sandoval again. It's much more like this is going to go bad. It's going to turn south. James is going to get fucked again. I'm not going to be here or give him any kind of pat on the back when that happens. But again, I'm not flat out saying don't do this. I'm saying I can't be involved past a certain point because I don't want him to have access to my life. And as a friend of James, I don't see this going well for him or any of you for that matter. So that's the whole point. And she's not ramping up. She's not escalating the situation.
No, I think that this is the clearest that she's spoken about this whole thing.
Yes.
We've only really seen her talk in a group setting like this about what's going on and how she feels and what she thinks about the situation once or twice, really. One of those times was in the pool when they're just talking about Sandoval and inviting him to Tahoe. Of course she's going to get upset about that. This was calm. This was clear. And it's what we've been saying the whole time because we know what's going on and we can watch it unfold. Here she is in the midst of her emotional journey. Yeah, we can't expect her to be that clear and concise about how she's feeling. She finally put it all together. It makes a ton of sense, and it falls on deaf ears.
Oh, yeah. The funniest part is Scheana was like going to gauge Lala's reaction and then talk to Ariana more about Sandoval and rekindling that friendship and all those things, and decides in this moment, oh, Sorry. Also was going to mention Dancing with the Stars to Ariana because I guess she needs an apology for that.
Dude, I don't fucking know. And also, Scheana doing this in the confessional means nothing to me. I don't think that she was even going to bring it up. I think she's scared to bring it up to Ariana.
She is. She's terrified.
She's petrified. And Lala doing this and stealing the thunder to just force Ariana's hand to start talking about this is annoying.
Well,
this is the pushy
especially-
shit that I don't need. Like, you guys are all together. I know that we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, of course, but Lala pushing her agenda is pissing me off.
Yeah, not to mention all last season, she was forbidding any contact with Randal. Forbidding it.
Yep.
And then she uses this moment to, and she always does this, she always makes it to relate back to a situation that she's been through. And look, are there parallels? Sure. Sure. But we have to remember that not every situation is the same, okay? And it's important to realize that in these moments, by constantly bringing it back to yourself and saying that it's just like this, you're running the danger of belittling what they're going through or overestimating how much you actually understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And Katie, being the voice of reason and being Katie, jumps in and is saying, if you're going to do this, then you can't overlook the fact that it's different. And then Katie jumps in and she says, Ariana made herself very clear. And she has. These are my boundaries. These are not changing. She hasn't changed her stance the whole time. And she says, if you're going to apply your situation to every single scenario, you cannot overlook the fact that it's different. Lala snaps and says, don't say I apply my situation, because if I apply my situation, in reality, no one's going to like what I have to say.
What does that mean?
No clue.
No clue.
Please elaborate.
Please elaborate. And also, when it comes down to it, the situations are a little similar. You're just handling it way different. I actually just remembered the parallel is, who was the first point of contact with Randal? Schwartz playing pickleball with him.
Yep.
Schwartz going to Sandoval.
Yep.
So she shut that shit down immediately and said, no, nobody can hang out with Randal. And they listened to her.
No, kind of. Schwartz still play with him.
Yeah, he still played with him, but Schwartz is going to do what Schwartz is going to do. He doesn't give a shit. And we already know that. The rest of them had no contact with him. Why can't Ariana do the same thing? It's because Lala has to push this for the show. She's pushing it for the show, but she's using her own ammo to do so. Like I said earlier with the LVP thing, she is jealous of Ariana, of all the attention that she's getting. We don't need that little thing where she's rebranding and all that bullshit. It's like, okay, I get it. You got a little bit of money from the whole Sandoval thing, and you're going to rebrand, but you're still jealous of Ariana because she's going out and doing all of these cool things. So you see that as she's stealing the thunder of the show. I need a storyline too. I can use this to my benefit to go after Ariana and paint her in a different light and just change the whole dynamic of the group. And this is what I love, that we know she's doing this. We know that she's been doing this since she sat down with LVP 2-3 episodes ago. She's been doing it the whole time. She's manipulating the situation. She's allowing Tom to come back in because she doesn't really give a fuck. She's looking at it like the show. She's like, Tom needs to be here because of the show. And she's right to an extent, but we can do it a different way. And she's forcing her way down our throats, like she was forcing Give Them Lala down our throats. Now she's doing this, and Katie stepping up is exactly what we needed, because finally somebody's fucking making sense and going after Lala and shutting her down like that. I love that immediately. Say it with your chest, bitch, is awesome. And Lala got even more triggered.
With your whole chest, bitch.
Whole chest,
Yep.
bitch. That got Lala even more triggered. She came back with another bitch, and then we've got a bitch off.
Yep.
We're just going back and forth with that. I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought
those are
this was cinema.
Yeah, this was a great scene. And Ariana points out, it's like you're saying that it was worse for you.
Yeah.
She's like, it is worse.
There you go.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Now we're comparing.
You didn't have to do that. Your situation was awful. It was horrible. Nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying the fact that you keep mentioning that your daughter's a constant reminder of all of this and the shit that you have to go through with all of that. We're not taking away from it. Sounds terrible. We feel for you.
But where's that person that sat with Raquel last year and said, you're not a mistress? I was called a mistress.
I don't know.
How about that? You've got a similar situation going on with Ariana. Where's the sit down with her
Well,
saying, hey, you know, like mine was really bad too, but you'll get through it. There's no words like that. She doesn't care.
The one thing that she says is, I don't want you to waste all the energy that I did constantly overthinking what other people are doing. And Ariana says, like, I'm not sitting here thinking about it and worrying about it. I'm just saying, if they are doing it, I'm not going to hang out with them.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. You said the same thing about Randal. The difference is, at a certain point, you buckled. I'm not planning on doing that because that's not what I want to do, period. It's a personal choice. She set boundaries, and the funniest shit is going into the comments and stuff like that and seeing people like, I'm so over Katie and Ariana. It's like, but why? Because they're not bending the knee to Tom like the rest of the group? Like, why do we need that? I don't understand. Let's not forget, everybody, as I've had to remind myself watching this, we're 4 months removed. Put yourself in the situation. Put yourself in Katie or Ariana's shoes and watch all of your friends start to go back to this guy that just fucking ruined your life.
And I can understand if they're coming from a point of how do they move forward in the show? Because last week when they're all in Tahoe and we get a glimpse of what Katie and Ariana are doing, I'm like, I don't care.
No.
This doesn't have any implication on the group. I don't really give a shit. Obviously, they're going to have to start filming again together, but you can question that and say, where's the show go from here? To say you're done with them is wild.
It is.
And it shows that the production is working.
Yeah, they're spinning.
Which is,
this
I think, the worst part. And this is, and we called it after the first episode. We knew what was going to happen, and this is exactly what's happening. I'm surprised that the people that watch this show are buying it.
I'm curious how many people are buying it.
Apparently a lot. The smart people are not.
Shots fired to anyone that believes it. But we got some questions to get into, so let's jump right in. Up first from Sid Hilsey. This is an important one. She warned us. Do you think there's a scenario where Ariana does not look bad? No. And that's not her fault because these scenarios are not her in the wrong. These scenarios are production painting a picture of the redemption arc of Sandoval and the girl that won't get over it. And that sucks.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
On a scale of 1 to 10, this is from Marissa and Palma. On a scale of 1 to 10, how unhinged do the bros find Joe?
So, like, just the worst.
I'm honestly gonna give it like a 5 and say that it's +5 intentionally. So it's 10. She's naturally a 5. She intentionally makes it a 10.
Just a 10, then. Yeah, for me.
So 20.
20. Yeah, there you go.
Bro math. This is actually a really good point from LMC Texas. Why is Lala defending Sandoval so hard? He has trashed her for years. He trashed her this season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no clue. Actually, we do know why. Like Shooter said, it's jealousy. From DMTZ916, new fan, you guys rock. Thank you.
Thanks, DMTZ.
Do you think Rachel should be able to visit Hippie? No.
No,
Fuck no.
No, absolutely
She dumped
not.
him at a shelter. No. You can say what you want about all of these situations. The treatment of Graham was not cool.
No.
That was fucked. So no, absolutely not.
Oh, wait. We got some clarity here, actually. From Snob14. The 195 for the birth chart is directly from Allie.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, you didn't say it was from Allie. You just said.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the question I read earlier.
1,000% in.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was saying. All right, cool. I should have clarified.
Still can't do it live, though.
I thought you saw
I will
the
laugh at
question.
Allie.
You can't. That's
I
rude.
know, but I will. I would.
I know you would, and that would be mean.
I would probably lie about my birthday, too.
Nope, I wouldn't. I would.
It's 1,000% what I do.
Then we wouldn't know.
Yeah, I know, but then I would just listen to it.
No.
She's like, I'm getting these vibes from you. I'm like, well, that's funny because it's the wrong birthday.
No.
Just saying.
No. Do it right.
So maybe.
Shut up. Here you go. This is what I'm talking about. And we're not throwing shade here. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But are you guys loving Lala this season like I am? I feel like she is a loud voice of reason. From J Drake 988.
No.
I'm not
loving it.
I'm not. Again, I'm seeing it from more of a middle ground as much as I can and trying to understand what the goals of everybody in the show is. But if you're looking at it from a who's being right objectively, I would say that the two holding strong to let's not talk to the guy that ruined our lives makes more sense. Again, J Drake 988, entitled to your opinion. We love you. Thanks for supporting us. But last one here from Jessica Brandaberry. After show made me think last season of VPR ? Transition Scheana and Lala to the Valley. So this is not the first time this has been brought up. I brought this up because Zach had mentioned it in a post that there was a leak of something that this might be geared up to be the last season of Vanderpump.
Which would make sense as to why they're pushing for all the.
Yes, it
yeah.
would, because I didn't even think of that till I just saw that. If there is an avenue that some of these people go from here to the Valley, that does make sense to me.
I don't think that they would. Bravo loves money. I feel like they're going to want to milk Sandoval for another couple of years.
I could see both. How about that? Like, if
Yeah.
they do decide to make this one last hurrah, like one
I think
final.
it makes more sense. Like, if the Valley sucks this year, like, yeah, you might want to transition some known names over to the Valley and get rid of whoever's not performing. Sure, that makes sense, but at what cost? If VPR is still doing well, which it is ratings wise, I don't see them getting rid of it entirely. It would
Yeah,
be
but
more of a
that would-
crossover thing.
That makes sense, though, because that pumps life into a new show, and it also ends this show on a higher note than what would inevitably happen after this starts to
Right.
die down. And it's
I don't know.
interesting. I guess we'll see. But other than that, don't forget to get tickets to our live show May 3rd in DC at Union Stage. It is a big venue. Bring all of your friends and family. Come hang out with the bros. Then we're up in Boston June 14th. That is a Friday night as well, and that is a smaller venue at the City Winery. We are selling those tickets crazy fast. There's only maybe 20 or 25 tickets left, and I haven't checked this week, so it could be even less than
That's
that.
the number that we said last.
Yeah, I know. So it could be way less, but go get those tickets soon so you don't miss out. Anything else?
Nope.
Well, Rob Bros are out of here.
See ya.